Welcome back to another installment of Let Freedom Cha-Ching. I think a special installment because it's highlighting one of the very special things about the entrepreneurial journey and truly what freedom brings to the table. And that's because where Alex is right now and where he's chatting from. So I'll kick it over to you to let the viewers learn your current location.
Yeah, so I am coming to you live from sunny Tierra Bomba Island, Isla de Tierra Bomba in beautiful Cartagena, Colombia, South America, which almost every time I tell someone, oh yeah, this weekend or whatever it is, next week I'm going to Colombia, everyone always, being like in the DC area, there are two Colombias that are sort of close by. One is Columbia, Maryland, which is near
Hmm.
Baltimore, and then there's Columbia, South Carolina. Oh, great! Maryland or South Carolina, South America, a little farther south.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's been we're here doing some wedding planning and taking a little break for a podcast and loving it. But this, yeah, like you said, this is the perfect kind of a perfect example of why we started doing what we're doing, the entrepreneurial journey. We can do this from anywhere. You could be anywhere in the world when
yep.
you have the right team set up. Certainly, yes, there could still be things going on. There are things going on, but with the team members in place, you could be in another continent and still operate.
That is awesome. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I wanted to talk about then. I guess with this time here, you can enjoy some temperate weather. I'll be in the same office dungeon that I've created for myself. I'd love to hear about kind of. I think it'd be a good time to showcase to people your journey and how where you came from to where we've afforded you to be now within the business, thanks to the business, as
Yeah.
kind of like a good quick little, hey, this took less than 2 years. This we got here in less than 2 years. So there's a ton of extra work that comes in when you're on the entrepreneurial journey. Don't get me wrong, you have a lot more work, but it's rewarding because you're doing it for yourself now, and you have a little bit more freedom. So
Yeah.
yeah, kick it off.
One thing that immediately always comes to mind with this kind of topic, of like where we started, where we were, where we are, where we're going, is laundry. For me, that is the number one thing that always sticks out in my mind is laundry. Because I remember just with one unit, when we started the first unit, before we had, our like the best cleaning team set up, who currently handles laundry, right? What we were doing was with one unit, and it was like, hanging on by threads, driving 30 minutes each way, 30 minutes one way to pick up dirty laundry, bring it back home, clean it, bring it back that, another day. They're still using, of course, like three, four sets, for
Sure,
that first
sure.
unit. It would be impossible without, but still, it is just, it's nuts because when we were getting ready to start the second unit, a few months after the first one, I was like, dude, impossible with how we're currently doing it, impossible for me to do the laundry, to continue to do laundry for two units. Hanging on by threads with one because of the time, location, amount
Yeah.
of laundry, number of nights people are staying on average, that kind of thing. With two units, I was like, this is a new problem and there must be a solution.
Yep.
So fast forward, like you said, less than 2 years, now I have 12 units. And the probably the biggest addition, biggest thing that we've done, I think, is the best thing we could have done is build that organizational chart with all the different team members, all the different roles on there. And for a while, your name was on there, is on there several times in different locations. Same with mine. But as we started to grow, we said, okay, we encounter a new problem, we create a new solution. We place ourselves on that org chart. And I've spoken on other podcasts, with people before about that same thing. And they're like, oh my God, wow. What do you mean? Oh, like so forward thinking. Like it's, like we talked about so many times before, like when you have that like horse blinder effect, you can only see directly what's ahead of you. You have no idea like the success or potential that might be just outside your vision that, blind to you, but someone else, a mentor, they're like, hey, why are you doing it that way? If you
Yep.
change that little thing and poof, you blow up in a good way.
When you're doing laundry, all you can think about are dirty sheets. But when you're working on
Yeah.
other stuff, wow, aperture gets opened up. And a lot of people are stuck in laundry time. Not literally
Yeah.
laundry time, but like think more working in the weeds of the business where they essentially just create another job for themselves that they have to do. Another, except now, hey, fun fact, you didn't create a 9 to 5, you created a 9 to 9, 365.
Yes.
You know, if you're like, I just working for myself because I holidays and blah, 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 blah. Wrong. Like, that's just not it. It takes a lot. And the laundry, you said it perfectly. The laundry is a perfect example of, and we've talked about this before, that created such a pain, like a visceral pain that we're like, this needs to be solved. And then
Yeah.
new pains are being like, here's one coming up, necessity. We're both going to be in Colombia at the same time with not great Wi-Fi, not great service. So it's like, there is a thing that needs to get done by that time. We need to have a lock on guest communications. We need to have a person who can be reached in an emergency on the ground. So it's coming up. The solutions coming up here.
And you know what? And that's a great point because, where we are right now, like, in that where we are going, that kind of thing, we used to not have any like employees, right? We used to figure that out. So I think the problem that we are, and as any business grows, you will always encounter new problems. Maybe, but you encounter a new problem and you figure out the solution, you
Yep.
grow, and boom. So for us, I think right now, we see that problem of like, hey, there's an event, there's a wedding coming up where we are both going to be, consumed by that, right? So
Yep.
the one of those problems is, yeah, guest communication. We know the solution, and we're working towards, implementing that solution of more full-time coverage. And what I will say is, I was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, oh man. So currently, Marifil works Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day, 8 or 9 hours a day. Then Saturday she works like 4 hours typically, but
Yep.
she's off on Sundays, as
Yep.
everyone, right? But I was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, with the schedule, with what we have going on today, on this trip, I'm like, huh, Sunday, that's kind of our like blind spot, if you will. That's the time where we don't
Yep.
have message, guest coverage, right? And I was looking at the Airbnb calendar last night, and I was like, wow, this is kind of just luck, honestly. But nice that it worked out that way. Today we have 0 check-ins and we have only 2 check-outs today. So I was
Yeah.
looking at this last
That's
night, and I was like, wow, actually, this is a
that's pretty
perfect
lucky.
day to kind of like a relaxation type day because it's there have been, and I know
I think it was
we
like
had a
two Sundays
Sunday like
ago. It was 2 Sundays ago, the Sunday from hell, where it was like five
it feels like
people.
longer than that because I've
Yeah,
been trying to block it out, but maybe
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I remember. It was like,
yeah,
it was like, oh my god. Every five
yeah,
minutes, there's some. It was like a
yeah.
combination of like guests, like
Mhm.
several guest issues, several owner issues, and like
Owner
managerial
issues,
issues, and then
new
employee
inquiries,
issues, inquiries. Yeah,
reimbursement requests. There's
yeah,
just everything going on. It's like, my God, how everyone, it was like there's a group chat with all of these people, except we're not in it. And they're like,
yeah.
okay, and hit send to Alex and George now.
Oh,
But today is like, magically on, a trip like this is the exact opposite, where it's like, okay, but still, that's kind of lucky, right? So I would say, for us in this problem that we know we have of like guest communication and needing more coverage for the future as we grow, one thing we can kind of focus on is today is kind of one of those like lucky, not too busy days, but we need to plan, prepare for the worst, hope for the best, right?
yep.
So I think, you could probably have that same attitude with any, as your business grows, with any problem, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. So don't hope for, oh yeah, hopefully it'll be which is kind of what we're doing today. Like, ooh, thankfully kind of got lucky with our employee, coverage. Yeah, we kind of did get lucky today, but
Yeah, I
prepare for the
know.
worst, hope for the best.
Yeah, I think, and there's like several ways we could skin that cat. One of the ways I was thinking is like we could easily, there's an easy one, partner up with a existing smaller portfolio in the area, someone else who has like around 10 to 20 units, and be like, hey, do you want to join in on this? We'll take you into our, idyllically finding someone who's a little bit behind where we're at when it terms of systems and processes, bringing them into the fold, making them an operations manager for the region, and then cutting them into like, profit sharing with them on the stuff, but being like, hey, we'll will take over like messaging and all the things for your units as well, and you're going to be you're going to be overseeing everything, something like that. I've been thinking about ways to like, because you
Yeah.
want a person on the ground who knows Airbnb.
Right. And it's also, would be perfect having someone who is physically located in the area that, that we're talking about. So like this regional, kind of boots on the ground type person, that would be good. Funny enough, leading up to actually after we were already in Colombia, we got a text maybe 1 or 2 days ago from one of our clients, and she said, "Hey, I'm going out of town this weekend. I'm a little nervous. This is because there's a guest at that property right now." She said, "Hey, I'm a little nervous. I'm going out of town this weekend, and this will be the first time that the house, because it's a duplex, this will be the first time that the house is like empty. No one's there while a guest is there. So if anything comes up, you can handle it, right?" Like, oops, well, you know what? I'm also out of town, so everything will be fine. We have other people on standby,
Yeah,
but
like
that's
we have people on standby, and then but you just tell them, yes, of course, everything's handled. Why? Because if something crazy happened, we would be like, and send the cleaner over, send the handyman over.
exactly. Yeah. So all the different, that's the thing. As long as everything is prepared, you could be in South America, you could be in Australia. But if you can manage out the time zones and whatever, and the people that are in place that need to be, maybe someday we can both permanently live in another location, but again, having the ops manager, yeah, well, that could be done, right? So that was just kind of a funny text to receive, like, hey, I'm a little nervous. I'm going to be gone. Like, oh, hey, well, join the boat. I'm also not there.
Yeah, yeah, yep, standby. But yeah, did you tell her that, or did you just like, yep, everything's good?
I told her, I said, oh, everything will be fine. And like, no worries. Yeah, we have everything under control. By the way, I'm also out of town, but we do have this person on standby. He knows the handyman. He knows we're out of town. I'm out
Yeah,
of town. So he's on standby for all of our properties. At a moment's notice, he could be there, or just like normal. Karen, our cleaner, she's ready to roll if something were to come up. So everything's good. She was just, again, this is the first time that as she saw it, she was going to be out of town because I think she normally has another family member there, but they're all also gone. So I'm a little nervous. But so maybe my text before contracts are signed and, the back and forth negotiation phase, informational phase, right, is setting expectations. Hey, these are the things that we do every day. If you need to contact us, this is how we, do things, whatever. But yeah, we are scheduled. If there's maintenance, if it's something small, okay. Obviously, Karen does a lot of things, but there was definitely once a time where, and you and me both, like a year ago, almost a year ago, setting up a new unit, which part of that is, fun as well, right? Like, oh yeah, we need to, paint this wall. Okay, we need to do that. That one was a little bit different because it was an arbitrage unit. It was not, for a
sure.
co-hosting client, right?
Yeah,
That's a little bit different. But definitely for a co-hosting client before, there was a time where there were 2 full weeks of maintenance related work and upgrades and painting and new light fixtures and a little bit of demo that I was personally involved in for 2 full weeks. But again, we figured out a price. I was compensated for that time, but still, that was 80 hours in the 2 week span. That was about 80 hours of work that I could not spend on, working with you and growing the business. So is, and truly, that client should have been, and we could guide him, there should have been someone else hired to do that physical work
yep,
for the bulk of it, right? So then instead we can focus on working on the business, not in the business. And I
correct.
think I'm going to get that tattooed across my shoulders, one of these days. That is,
Sure. I would
working
think
on
like
the
across the
business,
belly, old English, just
maybe
on.
like a the arch, like
Yeah,
like
the arch, of
Tupac,
course. Yeah, yeah, exactly. On the business, not in the
on the
business.
business, on it, not in it.
Yeah, you have on the
Uh,
business on the front, and then in the business on the back, and that's a fun tattoo. That tells the people business in the front, party in the back, and yeah, yep. Think about it, double entendre.
So yeah, but
Um,
yeah, I think that's it's such a simple concept, right? It's like I've in another example, another analogy of like learning how to ski is easier than learning how to snowboard. But I think from my own experience with both, mastering skiing is harder than mastering snowboarding. Skiing is easier to learn, harder to master. So working on the business, not in the business, it's easy to say, it's a little bit harder to do because sometimes you just get bogged down in these like uber details, and so you're like, oh, I'll just do it myself,
Sure.
but like, nope, you gotta pull yourself back and focus on the bigger picture, I think.
And if there ever was a place for you to master skiing, I think you're there right now.
Yeah, just a different kind of skiing.
Different kind of skiing, but I mean, hey, sorry, I had to. It's my
But
don't come
I,
after
I
us,
will
DEA.
say,
It's a joke.
so far, I've only been offered some nose candy once on this trip. But
Ooh, that's pretty conservative.
that's
It's a wholesome. That's a family
no,
fun, wholesome trip right there.
I will say it's a really family fun trip. I will say the environment that you like, at least here where we are, the environment that like we've been in bed at like by like 10:30 most nights. So a
Okay,
lot of people they're partying, right? So, but
that's the partying happens at people start partying at like 11.
on multiple days when we are returning to the hotel from being out all day doing wedding planning stuff, we're returning to the hotel, other people are all dressed up fancy, like going out. So it's like when you're waking up early at 5 a.m. to go for a run, and people are coming back from the night before and they're still wearing their dresses and everything,
Yeah,
and you're like, you have that crossing in the street and you're like, what the hell is
we're
happening?
on two very different trajectories. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. That's dude. That's how I think. Well, granted, I remember those days, so sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I have them every once in a while, but not nearly as much as I used to. Yeah. Okay. So I I look at the surroundings you're in right now, the tropical climate, the lush greenery. You're wearing a t-shirt. You're probably wearing board shorts of some kind, flip flops,
Right. Yeah.
and I think of where you started when we were starting this business and a very different environment. I'm thinking like 3 in the morning, bundled up, plowing snow at all hours of the night for winters. And I remember we went through 2 winters. Was it two? We went through a winter, and I remember it was either the first or the second year, but I think it was the first year. You're like, I'm not doing this again. I will not be doing this. I will not be plowing again next winter. It's literally just makes me a zombie. I get nothing done for myself. I'm working all through the night doing like this, crappy
You
labor
know,
for what? Like, a little making $30 an hour so someone can make thousands of dollars on a deal. And you're
mhm.
literally doing all the work so someone can make, tens of thousands of dollars.
Yes. Oh, no, 100% true. It depends on who you're working for. It depends on what kind of contract they have. This person that I was working for, yep. I mean, and like he was like he knew what he was doing, as well, right? He's hiring the people, the team members to do the grunt work, but and yeah, he was certainly making could be thousands of dollars an hour, right? Depending on the contract and a group of contracts, all sorts of different properties. Without going too much down that rabbit hole of the snow plowing world, you know, it's all about supply and demand. So depending on the area you're in, like in the DC area, it doesn't snow that much. So people panic and they're willing to pay anything. Get
Mhm.
like property managers, they're willing to pay anything to get their parking lots of like banks or whatever it is
Oh, I,
cleared.
I remember from the old Dirty Boys, people paid a
So
premium for three college students to shovel snow in their driveway.
oh yeah, you want it done now? So yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, being in that position, and I've done that for multiple years. It's like, damn, that type of job, and there's so many jobs like that where you need to be like, think of like working, something like safety related, like maybe with heavy machinery. Like you cannot be texting while you're operating a skid steer. You can't be texting or sending Facebook messages to new leads or new client prospect while you're operating a backhoe. Can't do it. How much time do you have per day? Well, maybe you could do it in the evening or you wake up early before work. But with a lot of jobs, when you're on the clock, you're on the clock. You can't do anything else. And of course there are a lot of jobs where there's maybe some flexibility, there's some kind of in between, but at least for myself and for us growing, I knew that, and this is what we've talked about, what can we do in the business to get myself out of that? I'm not contractually obliged to, working for this other company. So what can we do, combine with my other business to get out of that position, and then we can keep growing, keep doing what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I think we've done that in a big way.
And I know we feel the difference of having you work full time now, like within the confines of B&B Guardians. And I'm very excited for the time where I can join that. And I think it's hard to imagine because it's like, well, granted, it's a year and a half away, but I think before we even get there, it's going to be the business itself will look a lot more different than it does now. I think, it's going to be a lot more high leverage decisions made by both of us, more managerial, like having you like truly running the operations, not like as an operations manager, but as the person that all the operations managers for all the regions check in with, and the person that is overseeing the operations of not only units but also seeing the operations of the consulting and coaching platform. So I see the point where I will have that freedom of time to step in. I'll be stepping into a much different business than you stepped into when you left your job. And I'm excited for that because I think it'll come with its own set of problems. I think it will afford us its own set of luxuries. Like we can both go travel around the world and do whatever and manage things, keep the train on the tracks. I don't think it'll be
Hmm.
a lot of in-person putting out fires. I think it'll be, managing the people that put out the fires and
Yeah.
deciding where the next, where to, shift and go and where to guide the river to flow.
Yeah. And that's, what is it, like directing the orchestra, right?
Yeah.
So, but guess what? Now the director of the orchestra can be traveling. You can remotely direct that orchestra.
Or
Okay,
or or hear me out. Hire a conductor.
yes,
Hire the
even
conductor. Hire
so,
the conductor.
that's yes. And so now we own the theater.
Keep it going. I
Uh,
love it. Let's see what else. Who's the
yeah,
who's the symbol guy? Who's the
who
symbol guy?
owns yeah, who Geo? No.
Geo. I literally was gonna say Geo. See, so R.I.P. He's not.
So yeah, like but I think the best thing there is, that going back to that org chart and looking at where we are on the org chart, and okay, there's a lot of, eventually, company grows, there's lower level managers, there's mid-level managers, then there's C-level suite. So as long as we are moving up in that, we're replacing ourselves at the lower levels and then eventually replacing ourselves at the mid levels, replacing ourselves at a little bit higher, and then poof, we just keep stepping back and back
Yeah,
from the day, stuff.
and I think that's what it looked like for me. What that looks like in my how I envision it is we replace every job that we have within the business, with the exception of like CEO and COO,
Yeah.
and let that run that train for as many years as it's making enough money, and then
Mhm.
set it up so that a new COO and CEO could step in, and we are now just owners and go one step further, sell the business. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking is like, we'll have to see when we get to that point. Is it like more appropriate to like just sell the company, or is it more appropriate to replace ourselves at those highest points?
yeah,
Right. But I think that's, what, we're doing what we're doing. There's no sense in, worrying about that
no,
problem because we're
no.
not at that problem point yet. So we keep solving the problems of where we are. We'll solve the future problems in the future when we're there.
Yeah, it's good to have foresight and think about the future and set up for the future. All that's good, but really, truly, it's like you could spend a lot of time speculating on the things and all the moves you're gonna have to make. And yes, you can operate with the end in mind and know where you want to go. And I know where we want to go, right? We want to have an exit one day because it'd be fun to have an exit and move on to do something else, like a passion project, something like
Mhm.
really, okay, great. I don't need to worry about who I'm going to sell the business to right now. I need to worry about getting the business where it's sellable. So
Yeah.
it's very easy to, like, we tell all our clients, pick your one thing. What's the one lever you need to pull in your business to like get it to where the next step is? And we know ours. And it's like, okay, we're going to focus on that. And once we have enough flow coming in that we are just like, okay, now we can start focusing on other stuff, we'll focus on other stuff. But it's relatively refreshing just to pick one thing and stick to it. And there's obviously all these other ancillary things, like what we're doing right now. You have to do the social media stuff. Someone sent me a meme. I think you're on it. I think Nick sent it where it was like a Seinfeld thing. They're like business owners in 2024 realizing that they have to become content creators. All business owners realizing they have to be
Oh,
content
yeah.
creators, and they're just like, it is true.
Yeah.
I genuinely never thought I'd be doing social media ever, but here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are, And hey, I having that effect on literally 6 to 7 people. That's where we're at right now for subscribers.
Yeah.
But they're strangers, so there's that. It's not pity
Right.
subscribers. It's strangers. Having that, it'll build, it'll grow. It's a long-term investment. We're making a
Yeah.
long-term investment, and the short-term investment, the options, like this is the S&P 500 that I'm investing in, and then the options and the fun cryptocurrency stuff that we're investing in is the doing the consultings, doing the co-hosting. Like
Yeah.
yes, that gets money now, and we can do that, but we're looking in the future as well. You gotta
Feed the beast. Gotta,
gotta feed the beast.
yeah. Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. And I like that analogy as well. Sometimes the boring things in business will have the best results in the long run. And that's right. No. So, and there's so many people and that's its own thing right there. So many people love investing in boring businesses, because they make a lot of money.
Yep.
So the S&P might not be sexy, but guess what? It's got that return in the long run that everyone wants. People say, "Oh, when's the best time to buy real estate? 25 years ago or today?"
Yep.
So just keep at it, keep your head down, keep moving, and we're gonna love the way we look. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, I think I have the suits, right? The suits for the wedding.
Yeah.
They're yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be fun.
Oh, it's gonna be. By the way, we saw last night when we were meeting with some of the wedding, with the wedding planner, doing a couple of different things. We were walking right in front of our church, to see like the whole plaza and everything. It's a very like kind of busy public place, and in that moment, there was another wedding, not at that church. There was mass going on, and like big doors were open and everything, but there was another wedding that had just finished some other church down the street, and they were a very popular thing. It was kind of like this like parade type thing of like the whole wedding party, and
Why are
everyone
you
like
not parading? Why are we not doing the parade?
we were going to parade when we were originally at a different church, but now this parade would be far too long. And I'll tell you what, every single person in that wedding, that like guests, bridal party, everyone, like guys had their jackets off, there was open collars, they had the fans.
Tarps are off. Pop those tarps off.
HOT, hot.
Oh,
So
the tarps are coming off at the reception. There's no world where the tarps are staying on. The jacket and the shirt.
Yeah.
Every 30 minutes, another button gets unbuttoned, and then by the end of the night, there will be no shirts. Maybe I should book a Monday flight. I'm thinking now Monday's probably. I probably need a 24-hour recovery.
Two sleep cycles. Yeah,
two sleep cycles. Yeah, that's safe. That's smart. Okay, you got me. I'm convinced.
Yeah, but yeah, it was fun. It was cool to see. Even though that particular couple did not get married at our same church, they were walking right in front of it. So we're like, like pointing at, hey, look, everyone has the fans. Hey, we need every single person to have a hand fan because it's hot.
Ooh, are we gonna get custom hand fans?
We're working on some designs. I won't say, they're not going to be like custom to each person, although that's cool.
That sounds extravagant, but I would just say, make it fun.
Everyone will be leaving with a hand fan kind of souvenir deal,
like a geisha.
Some of that, huh?
Like a beautiful Japanese geisha.
I know what you're thinking. That's more like this. I don't know what. But
you're saying that like a mechanical fan?
No, not a mechanical fan. So sorry, I misspoke. So the style is the same, but it won't. Different fabric, different type of material. It won't look like that. It doesn't like collapse like that.
Yeah.
But it is, but same effect. Yeah. So, but no, we're not springing for the mechanical fans for 70 people.
That sounds good. Do it.
But no, it's a hot one out there, San Diego. But stay classy. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, dude, I have my. I get ready. We'll do a quick. You mentioned it, so I feel like I'd be remiss to not rep the. What's that? Stay classy, San Diego.
Classy Padres. Oh, that's awesome.
It is a custom Padres hat that's stitched in.
Who's on the side there?
Damn. Slam Diego. Got my luchador stuff. It's really just a fun. It is such a not me style, but when I go to the Padres game, I become another person, That's a callback to Master of Disguise. Great movie.
That's sweet. Cool hat.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm jealous. I wish I could be there right now. It's not so bad in San Diego, but I wish I could have the no stress of where you are in this exact day, not for the wedding planning. Tracking that the wedding planning stressful.
Yeah. Right. This very moment, exactly, where I'm at. It's pretty good. If I could leave you with one thing, it would be when you have the opportunity to get fresh squeezed orange juice, you do it.
Oh, I love that. I don't think there's anything else to say after that. That's going to be that's probably going to be the title of the episode. So, all right, awesome. Well, it's been good. It's been good catching up. Thanks for taking the time out of the planning vacay to chat. And yeah, look forward to seeing you next week. And have fun with the rest of the stuff in Colombia. We'll keep charging. And yeah, for everyone else, see you in a week.
Yep. See you next time.
All right. See you.
All right, later.